The following episode has been paid for by the New World Order.
Welcome everyone to Dads on Wrestling. I am Jeff Meacham.
I am JJ Williams, and I am drinkless. I just noticed that.
Yeah, you didn't grab your due this time. You can share my water if you want to risk the tickle in my throat that's been persisting since we taped this back in May. It's now like December. It's been persisting for 6 months.
November. We've done the research.
November. Sorry, November. Whatever. I don't really know what the hell day it is.
We're getting ready for Thanksgiving.
That's right. Back in Memorial Day weekend, you know. We're going to save the barbecue ribs till Thanksgiving because we don't eat turkey. Because fuck turkey, you know.
That's right. We want to just make sure, you know, be on the lookout for our Black and White Friday episode. You know, it'll be NWO Black and White.
That's right. Woo! We should. Can we seriously do that?
I don't know why not.
Can we convert this up to Black and White?
Might be able to. We'll have to do some work.
Dude, Black and White Friday is fucking an epic idea. We're doing that. Okay. Alright, we're going to tape that while I'm here before I go home again. So I don't know what we're going to talk about, but, you know, whatever. It doesn't matter.
We'll talk NWO shit.
That's right. We'll review the Revolution DVD, because nobody's done that yet that I've seen. People suck.
Because the DVD sucks.
It does not!
Once you get past the bio and you start to get in the matches, yeah, they're questionable.
With the exception of the Outsiders and 6, there weren't any decent fucking workers in the group.
Not my problem.
I didn't say it was my problem. Or your problem, what you just said.
It's like
the
first 3 or 4 matches are solid, and once it starts to hit the sold out pay-per-view, everything goes to shit.
That's because that pay-per-view was shit. I love my boys, NWO for life, too sweet, but goddamn.
So yeah, it's like, you know.
Alright, we'll talk about
a disc and a half is good, a disc and a half is bad. There's the review.
Well, I got the Blu-ray, so I can review the other shit too. You know?
That's right.
Because I can talk about shit that nobody knows about.
You're going to have to find, you know, the round table and freaking send it to me so I can watch that shit.
Or just uninstall my Blu-ray player and bring it down here, because whatever. Anyway, today's topic comes from my favorite person in the Pittsburgh area of Pennsylvania.
Kurt Angle.
Kurt Angle, that's right. Kurt Angle sent me this topic.
At Real Kurt Angle.
At Real Kurt Angle, and he still sucks.
From the tweeter.
The tweeter, that's right. And it actually came via text. It never happens, but it came via text, because this guy has my phone number. Greg Cherry. Greg Cherry, the Pennsylvanian sensation himself, along with his lovely wife, Jennifer. Or is it just Jen? I don't know. I forget. Isn't that bad? Oh, well. Anyway.
You spent a week there one day.
I did. There one day. It felt like a day. I was just on a rock all week, and she got mad at me. It was bad. It was bad. And then my phone got ruined 3 times over the course of a year.
And then your Back to the Future DVD smelled like freaking air freshener
for the rest of its days, along with my phone that I still have at my parents' house. It still smells like air freshener on the inside. It's like gross. Like I don't know what the hell happened to that phone. It was bad. But he asked us to address the topic of the greatest performers in specialty match situations.
Okay. Example
that he gave is Shawn Michaels in a ladder match or Triple H Elimination Chamber. I was like, all right, that's a good topic to me. And JJ did the extensive research, as he always does, because he is the renegade. Not the stat boy. Stat boy would do that, but stat boy has to, has a regular job. So, which he has.
Stat boy who's employed.
Stat boy who's employed. That's right. For 7 years now.
Almost as long as we've been filming these episodes.
That's right. Right. He had a Coward Kid streak going for a while. They're not missing days either.
That's right. So, I came up with 15 specialty matches.
Okay.
From WWF. WCW/NWA, TNA, and some are just generic matches that you can see in any regular fan.
And these were discussed by both of us. This wasn't just JJ doing the work and me kind of filling in blanks again. We actually did discuss. He found the match topics on good old Wikipedia, and then we discussed who we feel was the best or the 3 best or however it worked out in each particular match setting.
There's only a couple that we had more than one for, but it really can teeter-totter either way on that.
Based on their different strokes and different folk situation.
Yeah. And we're going to go alphabetical by step.
By step.
So the first one we'll discuss is the Elimination Chamber, which, Greg, you're absolutely right. Hands down, nobody better than Triple H in the Chamber.
He's won, I think, 2 or 3 of them, maybe even 4. And there's only been like 5. So, 2 per year for a while.
He didn't win the SmackDown ones.
That's right.
Or the December to Dismember one. But everything else he did.
Because Triple H doesn't work Tuesdays.
That's right.
That's right.
Except for the one that Shawn Michaels won.
Yeah.
But Triple H won all the others.
Triple H won a trip to the hospital on that one.
That's right.
With a broken trachea. Thanks to good old RVD.
John Cena won one, but no one remembers that shit because Edge cashed in his Money in the Bank briefcase.
That's right. Masters low blow, Carlito roll up. That shit was over.
Fucking Edge was Captain Buzzkill then.
Oh, I cry. I don't care. It was awesome.
It was awesome.
Who's awesome? Edge is awesome. Who's awesome? Edge is awesome.
He reeks of awesomeness.
That's right. Before Miz even did.
But yeah, Triple H in the chamber.
Yeah, absolutely.
No dispute, really.
But if you have a dispute, send it our way.
Post it in the comment box right here.
Under the NWO for Life message.
Hell in a Cell, Undertaker.
Yep. With nods to Mick Foley for 3 of them in 1 year, in '98, plus the 2000 performance against Triple H. But Undertaker made Hell in a Cell what it was and is to this day. Yes, Triple H and Shawn Michaels have since stepped in and written their legacies inside this cell, but without the Undertaker's presence in the early years of the cell history, the cell wouldn't have been near as ominous as it became.
Agreed. The Inferno match, Kane.
Yeah, and you know, what's funny is there was another Inferno match in recent memory, but it was called the Ring of Fire match. You didn't have to you put your opponent in the fire this time. You just had to be surrounded by fire. That was Bray Wyatt versus Kane at SummerSlam.
But it was still Kane in the same general topic.
Exactly. So Kane was outdone this time in that match. Kane generally did lose the Inferno matches.
Yeah.
Because of the way his gimmick was set up, he was covered in fire retardant stuff, so he could be set on fire.
Exactly. Which it's kind of, you can almost argue how can they be the master of it if they never really won it, but it was his specialty, the Inferno, Hellfire and Brimstone.
Exactly. Kane, who was announced as world champion on our freaking Facebook feeds this afternoon as we tape this, the hell happened there? Bullshit. We'll talk about that later. Even though it's 6 months ago.
That's right.
That's right.
The I Quit match, John Cena.
Yeah, and this one was hard for us to really, because you talk about Mick Foley, you can talk about The Rock, you can talk about Flair and Terry Funk, you can talk about, any number of submission or I Quit matches over the years.
Yeah.
But
say what you will about Cena, he is undefeated in them.
Yeah,
decisively undefeated.
It's matches like this that make the tolerance of him wane every passing year because he just doesn't fucking lose matches. He refuses to quit.
King of the Mountain from TNA arguably has to go to Jeff Jarrett. That was his nickname for a while, was the King of the Mountain.
You won 2 of them.
Essentially, for those of you that never saw one, it was a reverse ladder match where you had to hang something up as opposed to pull it down.
Generally,
and they had a penalty box.
Yeah, oh god.
For those of us hockey fans, that was kind of a cool little throw in there.
I guess. I mean, being the hardcore hockey fan that I am, I saw the first one, I was like, alright, I guess.
I liked the King of the Mountain match. It was kind of fun.
I guess it was in between my dislikings of TNA, because I didn't like TNA around the time that King of the Mountain really started, and then I didn't like it. I don't like it now, or even if it's in existence now, which whatever, don't know.
Yeah, but, November they could have folded.
Yeah, seriously. As we're taping this, MVP is feuding with Dixie Carter, and Dixie's the babyface, I think. Okay.
Well, MVP should be a heel.
Well,
he was always better.
He should be, but it's just they spent all this time building Dixie up as the heel boss, and all of a sudden she's Little Miss Good Sunshine again. The fuck. Anyway, but yeah, Jeff Jarrett definitely established King of the Mountain as his domain, and only Kurt Angle could surpass it, which he did. But Jeff Jarrett remained the King of the Mountain. Even on his DVD cover, it was King of the Mountain. The first ever that I saw 4-disc wrestling release. Because Jarrett was I never really completely embraced Jeff Jarrett as even as an NWO fan. Never really embraced Jeff Jarrett as somebody I really liked and got into, but his DVD was fucking good. And King of the Mountain definitely made that worth watching.
Okay. The sixth match we're going to talk about is the ladder match. Now we're just talking the general, everyday ladder match.
Because TLC is coming.
Yes, as is Money in the Bank.
That's right.
And we already did King of the Mountain, which was a reverse ladder match, so But for the regular, old, everyday ladder match, we were torn between Jericho and Shawn Michaels.
Yeah, and Shawn Michaels in the early days of the WWF ladder match, Bret Hart, Razor Ramon, you know, those two series of matches, you know, really put the ladder match on the map in mainstream American wrestling. Because remember, Stampede had ladder matches before anybody, really. But the ladder matches back then were god awful. I mean, they were okay to watch depending on who was involved in them, but the ladder was like one rung. You had to climb up to the rafters to grab something. It was like, she's gonna get hurt. People are gonna get hurt. It's ridiculous. They finally set it up in 92 that Bret and Shawn had their ladder match. So there was those, and then with Chris Jericho, you know, really patterned himself after Shawn Michaels in the first place. You had his matches with Christian and with Chris Benoit. Yeah, I said it. And, you know, his involvement in Money in the Bank matches, you know, and...
Supposedly his idea.
Yeah, well, it's even talked about in his second book. Undisputed. Amazon.com.
Hashtag fruit.
Hashtag fruit. That's right. F-R-O-O-T. If you don't know, now you know.
And if you still don't know, read a book. Read a book. Read a motherfucking book.
That's right. Go buy the book first, though. Don't be like Jeff Meacham, read it at the bookstore, and then don't buy it. Because Missy Hyatt will chase you down and beat you up.
It's a bad Jeff.
It's a bad Jeff. Jeff was cheap back then. Worse than he is now. True story. But anyway, Chris Jericho and Shawn Michaels with a dead heat between the two of them.
This one was really tough for us, and that's the last man standing match.
Yeah, and only because as mainly WWE viewers, there haven't been a whole lot of significant defining last man standing feuds or matches. You had Cena Batista, which was a chicken shit victory for Cena.
It's fucking hilarious.
It was fucking hilarious, and as a Cena fan, I was like, right on, but Batista got done dirty there. No wonder he got pissed off, bent out of shape, and quit. But, you know, and then you had Triple H and Chris Jericho from Fully Loaded 2000, which was a very good match. But at the end of the day, what set the standard in the WWF for Last Man Standing was the second to last of the series between The Rock and Mick Foley, Mankind, at St. Valentine's Day Massacre, which the fact that this match was overshadowed by a steel cage match between Stone Cold and Mr. McMahon shows you how stacked that card was at the time. But even still, this match with its Rocky II style finish, both men go down in a chair shot of glory and neither answer the 10 count. So much so they had a match the next night on Raw to get the belt off of Mankind.
Ladder match.
Another ladder match, which again, you know, The Rock made himself in ladder matches too. Let's not forget that.
He didn't define the ladder match.
He didn't define the ladder match, but he defined himself.
And the ladder match didn't define him.
Not once he established himself as world champion. When he was Intercontinental Champion, his defining feud was Triple H, and that climax at SummerSlam with the ladder match.
Okay.
So both those guys made themselves as single stars in that one match. Not career-defining match overall, but they defined that point in their careers, respectively, in that one match. But yes, The Rock and Mankind set the standard for brutality in the Last Man Standing match, and everybody since then has had to try to measure up.
Indeed. And that was my whole argument, was that they set the standard.
Yes. Well done.
Money in the Bank. CM Punk and Shelton Benjamin.
Now, Shelton has never won one.
Yeah. And before y'all say Edge, don't forget he had to beat Kennedy to get the briefcase for the second time. Punk won 2 in a row.
Right.
That's the only reason why I didn't say Edge.
And only didn't win in 2008 because of a last minute, you know, finagling by, who the hell won 2008? Oh, no, Punk won the way. Who won in 07? Kennedy. It came down to like Kennedy and Punk, and Kennedy like outmaneuvered him. So Punk would have won 3 years in a row if it hadn't been for Mr. Kennedy in 2007. And then look where that went, thanks to Kennedy's shenanigans. So, but yeah, Punk really took everything that Edge and Rob Van Dam and Mr. Kennedy had done in the 3 years prior and established himself as Mr. Money in the Bank for 2 straight years. But at the same time, Shelton Benjamin, despite not having won one,
always gave that show stealing performance.
Always showed the stole even, or stole the show, however you want to say it. in the Money in the Bank matches. And when it was only at WrestleMania, it was easier to get more show-stealing moments because nobody wants to steal the show more than at WrestleMania. And Shelton did it every single year. They had Money in the Bank with him involved.
Yeah. Jeff Meacham, who was Mushmouth then.
That's right. Mumbles.
Monsters Ball from TNA.
Now, very few of these have actually taken place in the first place because they're so just brutal and just bloodletting and
mentally wearing.
Yes.
You know, people, they're supposedly locked up for 24 hours before the match even starts.
In like solitary confinement style conditions.
And then they're only released to go into the match.
Right. So they're like, they took the concept that WCW attempted with Super Brawl '97, where Roddy Piper was on Alcatraz for 7 days and 7 nights, and then sauntered to the ring to battle Hogan. Far less smelling than Roddy did for 7 days on Alcatraz, and made it cool because you're locked away in solitary for 24 hours, and you have to come out of the hole and fight this hardcore monster, usually Abyss, who is our master of this match.
There's usually 3 or 4 people in this match.
You gotta figure Sabu's been in these, Jeff Hardy's been in these, Samoa Joe, Raven, exactly. You know, if you can outdo Raven in the mental mindfuck match, you straight.
Yeah, pretty much.
And Abyss did it.
The Royal Rumble.
There was a lot of back and forth between the two of us.
Actually, I don't remember that much back and forth. I came up with 3 names and you were like, yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay. I was going for the drama, but okay, you done fucked it up.
My bad.
Yeah. Alright. It's alright. Whatever.
Oopsie.
JJ, who was fired tomorrow.
Okay, good. So my contract is good through November.
That's right. You're straight. That's right. December 1st, you done. That's right.
But Austin,
Stone Cold, yes,
arguably won the most matches.
3 of them, yep.
So there's no denying his place on that list.
Yes.
Kane, until 2014's Rumble, had the record of most eliminations.
And almost approached the record of overall over the course of his career. He almost surpassed Shawn Michaels.
Well, assuming that he hasn't officially retired yet, he still could do it with next year's Rumble.
You never know with Kane, that's true.
And then Kofi Kingston, very much like Shelton Benjamin, seems to have the show-stealing spots in the Rumble.
It's been consistent. Every year he's done something to avoid elimination and get himself back in the ring through spectacular means.
Yeah.
So all 3 of those guys are definitely Royal Rumble highlights.
6 Sides of Steel.
This is the one that had a little bit of debate. Okay.
Yes.
Yeah, okay. And the problem with 6 Sides of Steel is it's just TNA.
Mm-hmm.
And there's been so many of them because of the lockdown stipulation where every match is a cage match that it's hard to define who's been the most dominant, prolific participant in 6 Sides of Steel. So Jay and I went over it. At the end of the day, what we came up with was we're just going to go ahead and say the most career-defining 6 Sides of Steel match. And what that came down to was one of the originals. AMW versus Triple X from Turning Point 2004, live with Jeff Meacham in person. And that match put Storm, Harris, Daniels, and Skipper more on the TNA map than they already were.
Yeah.
And even in breakup, Daniels and Skipper still went on to do great things. AMW went on to be tag team champions 258 times.
That's right.
You know. So.
And if you want to pick one of those men to be the most defining, I guess it would have to be James Storm. Because Beer Money's had its share of
6 Sides of Steel also. And James by himself also. The Storm Rude match from Lockdown when Rude turned heel. Heel on Storm, because Rude was heel pretty much his whole career. But, you know.
Rude, who is heel.
Yeah, that's right. That's right.
The tables match. And again, we're just speaking the regular, old, everyday tables match. It's hard to argue the Deadlies.
Yeah, again, TLC is coming.
TLC is next, so call me Tits.
That's right. So, yeah, tables, ladders, chairs.
Unless you're lactating, then, you know, whatever.
If you're lactating, then by all means, keep your tits motivated and stimulated. Because the baby's got to eat. True story.
But the Dudley Boys, Team 3D, whatever you want to call them, the table match is their specialty.
Yes.
Devon get the tables. That'll probably be on Bubba's tombstone when he passes.
That's
Devon
right.
get the tables.
That's right. What else on Freddy's? Last words.
TLC.
And again, we came down to JJ with 2 people, me really with 1, but they both tie into the same category, and it's Edge and Christian.
Yeah.
I would say Edge more so because Edge went on to really define himself in singles TLC matches against Ric Flair, John Cena, and the like. And
Even though Edge lost that TLC match against Cena.
but it was a great fucking match, and Edge really gave a career performance in his hometown.
Money in the Bank.
Money in the
defended
Bank.
the briefcase
Yes.
against Matt in a TLC match.
That's right. Well, it turned into a TLC match because of Matt Hardy and Edge the way they were. But, I mean, pulling a TLC match out of Ric Flair's ass is freaking superior in and of itself. Ric Flair, who was 105 then, you know.
And then we also added Jeff Hardy to this mix because as a individual
Yeah.
in one-on-one TLC matches,
Yeah, again, Edge and Jeff Hardy. At the Bash 09?
I think so.
When Punk cashed in on Jeff?
Yeah.
The Bash, yeah. The 2 prolific TLC participants against each other. There you go. But Christian definitely earned his keep with the Triangle Ladder match and the first 2 TLC matches on this category.
Ultimate X.
Yeah, there was a little bit of thought, not really debate between us, but just kind of like, And then I went, Chris Daniels.
You could easily argue that it would go to any of the 4 real pioneers of Ultimate X. The 2 we have and the 2 we left off. We have Christopher Daniels and Frankie Kazarian.
Right.
And the other 2 that you could kind of throw in there would be Michael Shane and Chris Sabin.
Right. Chris Sabin, who was
Any 4 of those.
Yeah. And, I'll even give, I'll give Michael Shane some serious credit because he and Frankie won one together and co-reigned for a while as X Division champion, which is a cool little gimmick they had there. But
And they're kind of doing the whole Top Gun shtick.
yeah, exactly. That was funny. But Daniels, in his first one, won the title and just continued to build and build and build every time he had an Ultimate X match. He just got better every time.
And the last one we're going to discuss, Greg, if you're still awake with us, is War Games.
And having the chance to purchase the War Games Blu-ray and sit down and watch every single War Games match from 1987 until the end of WCW, 2 names stick out more than anybody else in the history of War Games. It was early on in War Games, but it's who they were. Dusty Rhodes and Double A, Arn Anderson. Because the War Games is always about the Horsemen versus Dusty's team, essentially. So
In those early years, it definitely
and
was.
Dusty and Arn almost always started the match against each other for the first 5-minute period. It was always Dusty and Arn going toe to toe. And later on, when Dusty moved into booking and didn't participate as much, Arn would be the one in War Games against the NWO and against Hogan's team and stuff like that. So Arn is just a bit above Dusty.
Arn Anderson, who wasn't being parodied by the NWO then.
That's right. Yeah. I love my boys, but damn, that was wrong. We'll talk about that in the Black and White episode. Anyway, Black and White Friday, that's what we're going to call it. Gotta make sure we do that. Anyway, but yeah, Double A and Dusty, definitely for War Games.
So there it is, Greg. 15 specialty matches and who we think defined those matches. What do you think? What do you fans think? Leave comments in the comment box right here.
Greg, you know where to find me with your responses.
That's right, text.
I'll
Of course,
read them
it'll
all.
be Christmas Eve by the time you get a reply from him about this, so you know.
Yeah, whatever. That happens.
So, until next time,
Whatever that is.
I'm the Renegade of Wrestling,
I am Jeff Meacham.
and we'll see you around.